Hello and welcome back to another episode of It's Okay Baby Girl. So I know I said I'd be back, but clearly I have not been back for about a month now, and I'm not gonna apologize because that was intentional. I made that choice and I feel better now. I guess at the time I thought I was gonna start recording episodes and putting them out on a regular schedule again, and then I realized I still need a little bit more time to kind of transition between jobs and kind of just get myself in order. So that's what I've been doing over the past month, is just adjusting and taking my time, because sometimes you might think you're ready and then you have a moment where you're like, oh, maybe not quite. And you just have to go with what your body is telling you and listen to your intuition when it comes to things like that. So we are actually back now, and I have decided with the podcast we're going to make a couple changes. First and foremost, I will not be putting an episode out every week. I've realized that that's kind of a big commitment for me right now, so I'm going to do one twice a month. Okay. I will also be scheduling all of my content, so it will not be posted in real time. And my episodes were already not posted in real time, but I'm going to post on a schedule as well on Instagram. So just know that that's just how I'm going to run things from now on, just for my own peace of mind. I actually hate being on social media, but obviously in this day and age, it's kind of unavoidable. So I want to use it to my advantage, obviously, for the podcast, but not let it consume my day and my time and my brain space. So that's what we're going to do. Once a month, I'll just be sitting down, planning everything. So then you guys actually have something coming at you. But that doesn't take time out of my week every single week. Okay, cool. So with that being said, let's get into this episode. I want to talk all about burnout. Qu'est-ce que je vais te nommer? Je vais te nommer l'amour, l'amour tendre, l'amour qui chante doucement dans mon cœur, l'amour sans logique à la raison. One of the reasons I took such an extended break from the podcast is because I was experiencing burnout, and I didn't know it at the time. But as I talked to some professionals, some friends, some mentors and things like that, that's when I realized, I was like, oh shit, I've been working for 6 months and I've already burnt myself out. And I was getting to a point where I was like, I don't know if there is any turning back at this point. And I felt completely helpless, which is one of the signs. You feel helpless, you feel irritated, you feel a loss of motivation, you feel lost. I felt like I had lost my purpose. I had waited my entire life to become a nurse and, live this kind of life and pursue my dreams. And 6 months in, and I feel like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I even doing this? And it's because I had burnt myself out. I overdid it. And it's funny because one of my cousins actually warned me. She's a nurse practitioner, and I really appreciate that she looks out for me because she's been doing this for a while, and she obviously cares about me as her younger cousin. And she was like, I'm just afraid that you're going to burn out. And she was right. I did. So I'm appreciative that she at least put it out there so that by the time it happened, I was aware of what's going on. But it's not something that's talked about, but apparently everybody is burning out these days. And I think part of it is just like the world that we live in post-COVID. That's just part of it. And then also the fact that we appreciate a work-life balance more now. And this generation is not willing to compromise their well-being for the sake of a career. Because I think older generations, they were very focused on work, and do your best and give it your all, and which is great. But you have to make sure you don't cross a certain line with yourself that you completely lose it all, But yeah, my symptoms were I could not get out of bed in the morning. I felt completely helpless. I felt detached from everyone, isolated from everyone. I was always tired, but I could never sleep. And I had constant headaches. I would fall asleep and also wake up. And finally, after working hours to make myself go to sleep, I would wake up multiple times, almost every hour. And I felt like I was getting sick all the time. I did not feel like showing up to work, and I was overeating. That was my coping mechanism. I was just eating constantly. I was very irritable, so I was lashing out at others, and I was constantly crying. That's what was happening for the past month. And I'm not saying this to be like, oh, woe is me. It's to just show you that sometimes it's okay to feel that way. Like, we all are susceptible to things like burnout, and it's okay, but it's time to be aware of those things and see how we can prevent it, or at least how we can recover from it. I honestly don't know how to prevent it other than just don't overwork yourself like I did. My biggest mistake was picking up 6 shifts in a row. Never ever do that as a nurse, ever. I don't care how much you need the money, or you want to do it, or you want to, do so. I don't know. Whatever your reason is for picking up that many shifts, don't do it. Like, really think about it before you put yourself in that kind of situation, because you will hate your life after day 3. Okay? And that's only halfway through. I did that. And during the holiday season, and ever since then, it just kind of went downhill from there. Part of it was like the place I was working at was just not ideal for the type of work environment that I need to be successful and to be feeling like I'm doing a good job. But hence, that's why we started a new job. And I'm loving this job, actually. I love working in pediatrics. And I really, really appreciate my support system, my coworkers, and all the staff, and even my patients and their families. They're amazing. So definitely know that I am a better fit in pediatrics now. That's part of it, is when you're doing something that is not really meant for you, you will eventually lead to burnout because you're trying your hardest at something that's just not your thing. And it's okay. It doesn't mean you're a quitter. It just means there's something else that's better suited for you. That's all. I hate this quitter mindset that I think a lot of us were raised with, is like, if you stop doing something, you're just a quitter. Maybe that thing that you stopped is because it's not good for you. Maybe you walked away from that relationship because it wasn't the right one for you. It doesn't have to be because you gave up or that you quit. It just means that you are doing something different. That's all. So anyways, I digress. But back to burnout. If you're feeling any of these things, basically symptoms of depression, okay? Just pay attention to those things. Obviously, you don't have to be suicidal, but like if you're just feeling like fatigued, tired, hopeless, numb even, or mad or sad, or all of the above all the time, and the common denominator is your job or something that you're doing that is requiring a lot of time and attention out of your day and your life, maybe that's the reason why you're feeling this way, and you need to reevaluate what needs to be done next. Because you will get to a point where you will literally just quit everything. That's why we have so much of an issue in certain fields of nursing of calling out, because people are burnt out. And so they'll work their 2 shifts, and those 2 shifts were shitty. And then by the 3rd shift, they're like, nah, I'm taking a sick day because I just can't do it anymore. Like, mentally, they're just not there. And that's understandable. But that just goes to show like the work environment they're in and the lack of support around them to get through such a challenging environment. So if you're experiencing burnout, please do the following, okay? Number 1, I decided I'm going to talk to someone, all right? That's the first thing I did, was talk to someone, tell them how I'm feeling. Talk to multiple people if you have to. I talked to my mother, I talked to my partner, I talked to my doctor, I talked to multiple friends, both nurse friends and non-nursing friends. And they were all like, I think you're burnt out. That was the common conclusion, okay? Sometimes when you don't know exactly what's going on with you, the people that love you the most will try to help you figure that out. And they might actually know what's going on because they know you as well. So that was the common denominator. And then I tried to figure out what exactly in my day-to-day life, like in my physical activities, that will improve how I'm feeling. And one of my biggest issues was sleep. So I talked to my doctor, and we talked about a potential solution to fixing my sleep, which has worked. I'm sleeping better now, and I feel more refreshed when I wake up. I'm sleeping through the night. And so that has decreased a lot of my symptoms that I was experiencing with burnout, especially because when I personally don't get enough sleep, I already struggle with my mental health, so that just aggravates it even more. Like, I feel more paranoid, I feel more hypervigilant, I feel anxious all the time, I feel like, way lower self-esteem. And then also when you're not sleeping, you eat more, and then when you eat more, you feel like shit because you're like, damn it, like I'm not treating my body well. So when I fixed the sleep, it fixed my appetite and it fixed my mood. So that way I could actually show up for the people in my life the way I needed to, show up to my job and not feel like I'm dragging my feet, and actually enjoy what I do. So those are some of the things I did. And then I also reevaluated the other aspects of my life that were taking a lot of time and attention. Hence why I stopped the podcast for a little bit. Because I was like, you know what? If it's too much pressure, there is no point. Just do it when you feel like doing it. There is nobody who is holding you against your will, telling you have to record episodes for a podcast that you created out of your own free will. You also have the free will to stop at any point. And I decided to do that. I was like, until further notice, I'm just going to take a break and see how things go. I also cut my social media off for 2 straight weeks. And that was amazing because I started reading again. I started journaling again. I started doing the things that I like to do that actually refresh my brain and make it feel stimulated in the right way, not with the doom scrolling and the endless hours that I spend consuming media that's absolutely retarded. Okay? So I'm glad I did that. I took that break and now I'm back on social media, obviously, because I'm going to kind of set myself up to start scheduling content more and just get into the groove of things. But from here on, I'm going to strictly limit my intake of social media because I've realized that I am a much happier person without it. But obviously with my jobs that I have on the side, like podcasting and dancing, I do need social media to promote my content and promote my art. So, I kind of have to pick and choose when I use it. And so for now, we're just going to do what we can, but I'm not going to be consuming it every single day. Once I schedule for the month, I'm going to take it off my phone. And this is because of a suggestion that my friend made, because I was kind of telling her how I was feeling. And she was like, maybe you should just sit down one day a month and just schedule everything and then just forget about it after that until the next month. And I was like, that is actually an amazing idea. That way I have everything coming out, but I don't have to sit there and do it in the moment every single time. I can just have content and podcast episodes rolling out and I'm done for the month. I think that's much more reasonable than sitting there every single day trying to come up with new things, new ideas, and kind of draining myself as I stare at a screen for longer than I need to. So that was another major thing. And then I also actually took a complete break from dance as well for about 3 weeks. I didn't have anything scheduled and I was just like, you know what, maybe I do need to take a break because I was starting to lose myself in that too. I was like, maybe I'm not even meant to do this anymore or perform anymore. I just don't like anything. I feel nothing, And I think it was heavily to do with the sleep deprivation because when I started sleeping better and expressing how I was feeling towards others, I started to enjoy dance again because I was like, oh, see, I'm fine. I was just extremely tired. So, I took a little bit of a break from that, but when I got back to it, I really appreciated the fact that I have dance in my life. I remember what it does for me personally, and I know I can't live without it. So I'm back into doing that, but I'm also going to be taking breaks in between from that as well. Like I don't have to constantly be booking shows and doing all this stuff. Like I can do it as it comes and let it flow. I don't have to dance at a certain number of spots or book this many gigs in a month. I can just do as I please. It doesn't pay my bills. It's just something I love to do. And I just happen to make money from it. So I don't need to put pressure on myself to, do more than is necessary because this is all I need. I do it because I love it. I love meeting people and connecting with others. And that's why I do it. So we're going to focus on that. And not on the business aspect of it because it really, to me, is more just because I love to do what I do. So those are a couple of the tips. And I also committed, I was like, I'm going to cut down my sugar intake and I'm going to strictly monitor when I'm eating, what I'm eating, not to be like, I'm going to eat a fucking piece of lettuce at 12 noon and that's my lunch. No, I'm going to replace the processed, fatty, sugary dessert foods with wholesome, proteins and fibers and nutrients that I actually need for my brain to function properly. We know how this goes, we know how this goes. Your food affects your sleep affects your food. It goes back and forth. And your gut health affects your mental health. We know this. So I was like, I just need to go back to my roots and practice what I preach, essentially. This just goes to show that I am also a human being and I struggle with these things too, just because I talk about this stuff like mental health or healthcare, things like that. It doesn't mean I don't experience this stuff too. It means that I experience it. I'm just learning from it just as much as anyone else. And I'm just putting it out there to help anybody else who needs a little bit of support. So that's another thing I did. And I have noticed that my appetite has improved as well, because I'm feeding my body what it's actually needing and not what it's craving. Because it's craving something because it's deprived of something else. But truly, it's not going to feel any better just because you pump it full of sugar or whatever that you're craving at the time. You know, it's just a cry for help, essentially. So we're doing a lot better about that. And I've gotten into a better routine now that I've adjusted to my new job. And I really try to stick to that, as well as it helps having a dog, because you do have to stick to a routine when you have a pet, because they need to eat and drink water and, you know, go to the bathroom and stuff too. And they need exercise as well, and interactions with other people and animals. So it kind of forces you in a way to have healthy habits when you have a pet, which is kind of the reason why I got it, is to keep me on track when I'm not doing great. She is an emotional support animal, so she definitely does a lot to support me, but I also have to support her as my pet, you know? So those are all many of the things that I have done in the past month to kind of recover from burnout. And doesn't mean I still have, you know, that I'm back to normal. I still have bad days. And another huge thing I realized is if I'm isolating, that's when I really need to push myself to reach out more. So I've been doing my best to go out and see friends, not bring them home, not just call them. I'm going to go see them. When I feel down, I do go to my parents' house now. And now that I don't live with them, we have a great relationship. So it's great when I do go see them, because, you know, I look forward to it and we actually have great conversation and quality time together, which is one of the reasons I moved out, is I wanted to improve upon my relationship with my family members. So now that that's better, it's a great way for me to cope when I'm not doing well, because I know that they're there for me. And now that we don't see each other as often, we make more of a time and effort to actually enjoy with each other when we do see each other. So that's one thing. And I made it an effort to connect with new people. You know, I was like, I'm not going to let this burnout stop me from making new friends or connecting with new people. And I'm going to make sure that I reach out to the people that make me feel loved and supported and happy. And yes, I have friends who have moved away. And so that does make things kind of difficult. Like, my main support system is all over the country now. But it's okay, because I can also book trips and flights to go see them and make plans to have vacations with them later in the year. And that's another way that I've been coping, is having things to look forward to. So when I make plans with friends, I actually have something to look forward to because of the local events happening in the area. We try to make an effort to go try new things. So it's been awesome ever since I did that, because I realized I do need to see people. Working in home care as a pediatric nurse, you obviously see your patient and their family. However, at night, during night shift, the patient is usually asleep for quite a while, as well as the family. So you spend quite a few hours just not talking to anyone or interacting with anyone. You're around humans, but for me personally, I do need a solid amount of human interaction throughout the week to feel normal. I'm an extrovert. I enjoy talking to people and being around them. And I need a certain level of interaction for me to feel like my cup is full. So that's in my hands to make sure that happens. And I'm doing my best to put myself out there, and then also listen to myself at times where I don't need as much interaction. Like right now, I'm kind of in a space where I'm like, all right, I'm going to take a bit of a quiet weekend for myself, and then we'll get back to the grind next week. So those are all things I've learned in the past month about burnout. And everybody's journey is going to be different. I'm lucky enough to say that within a month, I have, I think, 70 to 80% recovered from the burnout. It's not completely 100% back to normal, but I'm getting there. And it's because I really worked at it aggressively for a while, and I had a really great support system. And the universe also just presented me with opportunities that I didn't know that I needed to come into my life. And that's because I completely let go of everything. And I firmly believe that when you let go of something that you don't know if you're sure of or whatever, if it comes back to you, it's for a reason. So you should pay attention to that. But yeah, pay attention to how you feel when you're at work. Maybe your job is not the right job for you. I've known so many people who have quit their jobs recently, or, you know, are switching paths, and it's okay. You are not a quitter. You are not someone who gives up easily. You are probably a very hardworking and resilient person and you just can't take it anymore. So do not feel bad if you feel like you need to step away from where you're at. That's normal. And that's only a decision you can make because you know how you feel when you're at work or in whatever field that you are spending your time in. So with that being said, I hope this helps. Burnout is not easy and it comes with so many emotions. It's so overwhelming and also so numbing at the same time. It's weird. But I hope that if anything that you get out of this episode is just to know that you're not alone and that you have support around you. So just see what you need to do for yourself. Trust me, your body will tell you what you need. And, reach out to the people around you because they know how you are. And if they love you, they will be willing to work with you through it. So I was really lucky to have people like that around me that love me enough to work with me through my dark times. So thank you to all those people. You know who you are. I love you so much. But just take it one day at a time. That's the point I got to, is one day at a time. I don't need to worry about this next week or the next month. I just need to worry about the next hour. And eventually it became less and less burdensome. So hope this helps. I hope you guys have an amazing week and weekend whenever you're listening to this. And I love you, and just know that it's okay, baby girl. We're all in this together. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next episode. Take care and goodbye.